The town in The Nightmare Before Christmas is called Halloweentown, and of course we all know the Disney Channel original movie, Halloweentown, where the town is of course called Halloweentown as well. With both of these being Disney movies, does that mean the two towns could be connected? Or could they even be the same town? Let's theorize. Spoiler alert for The Nightmare Before Christmas and at least the first Halloweentown movie. If you haven't seen those, what are you doing? The Nightmare Before Christmas, which I'm just going to refer to as Nightmare, was originally a poem created by Tim Burton in 1982 when he worked for Walt Disney Productions. Disney found the story too dark to make it into anything, and Burton ended up leaving the company to make a bunch of hit movies, but he still wanted to make something of Nightmare. In 1990, he found out Disney still had the rights to Nightmare, so he signed a deal with them to make Nightmare into a feature-length film directed by Henry Selick. After 3.5 years in production, Nightmare was released in theaters on October 29th, 1993. It was also originally released under Disney's Touchstone Pictures label because they thought it was too dark and spooky to release it under the regular Disney label, so Touchstone is still Disney, it's just like their adult line. But it was later re-released officially as a Disney movie in 2006. Now, Halloweentown, the Disney Channel original movie, which I'm just going to refer to as the DCOM, which stands for Disney Channel Original Movie, was first pitched to NBC by Steve White and Sherry Singer in 1993. White got the idea when his daughter asked him, "Where do all the Halloween creatures go the rest of the year?" I like her. She wanted the lore. NBC greenlit the project and Paul Birnbaum wrote the script. He even got the names Marnie, Dylan, and Sophie from his own kids. NBC did end up passing on the script, but Singer and White did not just forget about their movie concept. In 1997, Singer and White established Singer White Entertainment, and they pitched the idea of Halloweentown to Disney, who initially passed, but after the success of their movie Under Wraps, they came back and said they wanted to make Halloweentown, but for them to gear the script more towards children. Yeah, apparently the first version of the DCOM was geared more towards adults, and I would love to see what this would have looked like. The DCOM aired on Disney Channel on October 17th, 1988, and there were later 3 sequels following the first movie. Now that you have some background specifically for the timeline, let's get into my theories on how these two towns in these two movies could be connected. Alive Town versus Dead Town. What if the DCOM is the alive version of Halloweentown, somewhat still on this mortal plane, and Nightmare is the deceased version of Halloweentown, or their afterlife? Meaning once a DCOM Halloween creature passes on, they go to the Nightmare Town for all eternity. It's pretty clear that most everyone, if not everyone, in Nightmare are dead. We know Jack is dead. So what if he was the mayor in the DCOM Alive Town, and then when he passed on and went to the Nightmare Town, he's this like super big deal, and the mayor looks up to him so much because he was the mayor in the Alive Town, and that's a pretty big deal to them. A flaw in this theory is that there are ghosts in the DCOM and other not-so-alive characters such as Benny, but maybe the Halloween creatures have a different way of passing on, or they have multiple lives, and the Nightmare Town is their final resting place. Good town versus bad town. This is the bad place sort of situation. What if the DCOM town is the good town where all the good Halloween creatures live, and the Nightmare Town is the bad town where all the bad Halloween creatures live? It's obvious that Nightmare is far spookier than the DCOM. I mean, I am the clown with the tearaway face. Not so cozy comforting. The Nightmare characters are there to scare, and the DCOM characters just want to live their happy, spooky, peaceful lives. If you're a good, nice, spooky guy, you get to live in the DCOM town, but if you're up to no good, you have to live in the Nightmare Town, where you have to have a job to make Halloween for the humans each year, instead of living your peaceful DCOM town life. So the towns would know about each other for sure, and the DCOM town residents would know that if they're bad, they could be banished to the Nightmare Town. Enter Calabar. Clearly up to no good, but still somehow in the DCOM town. But he knows if he gets caught being evil, he'll be banished, which is why he masquerades himself as the happy-go-spooky mayor. But upon his demise, he would ultimately be banished to the Nightmare Town. Now we can go chronological and say that Nightmare does take place before the DCOM, so we wouldn't have seen Calabar in his final form in the Nightmare Town. In a little bit, we'll get into who he could have been if the DCOM came first. You could also sub-theorize this one and say that Calabar actually slipped out of the Nightmare Town and somehow got back into the DCOM town, maybe through many travels through the hinterlands or the holiday doors, meaning he could have been a Nightmare Town resident before, but he was determined to get back into the DCOM town and actually fulfilled his evil plan. Well, almost. I swear to God, if you can hear my computer, I'm so sorry. She's so dramatic. Parallel universes. What if the DCOM town and the Nightmare town are parallel universes with each other? This could mean that they do or don't know the other town exists, but maybe they're affecting each other. What if there's a version of each character in each universe? Such as Benny. He's a cab driver in the DCOM town, but in Nightmare, he's a spooky town skeleton. And maybe he has what he thinks are deja vu moments, but really it's a subtle slip into the other dimension. I know this one's getting pretty sci-fi-y, but stay with me here. The towns may or may not realize it, but when they do something, it affects the other town. Such as Calabar trying to take over the DCOM town could subsequently be because Jack left the Nightmare town. That somehow Jack and Calabar are connected, and when Jack left, it somehow gave Calabar more power to enact his evil plan. Maybe? Do you see the vision on this one? Two separate realms. What if the DCOM town and the Nightmare town exist at the exact same time in the same universe, but are two completely separate realms? Or worlds? Or lands? I believe both towns are not in the mortal realm unless the DCOM is in some sort of like hidden secret area of the mortal realm that we can't like see or access, but we do know that both towns have access to the mortal realm. But maybe these two towns are existing in the same universe. So this is kind of the simple one where they exist in the same universe, but they don't actually have any kind of connection. But I think this would still leave the opportunity open for a Nightmare character to meet a DCOM character somewhere, somehow. Ooh, maybe there are many, many more doors in the hinterlands leading to the DCOM town and many other Halloween-themed towns. Very multiverse, if you will. But this is kind of getting back into the parallel universe thing. Anyways, moving on. They are the same towns, and the DCOM is a prequel to Nightmare. When researching for this video, I came across a YouTube video posted years ago by Channel Frederator. I'll link it below. They were the only person I could find online comparing these two towns, by the way. Their theory was that after the DCOM and Calabar's destruction, things actually started to go downhill in the DCOM town. That there was a war of some sort, and it caused the residents of the DCOM town to start to degrade and to become more and more evil over time, then being forced to make Halloween for the humans each year. I think this is a really interesting theory that the DCOM could be a prequel to Nightmare, meaning that they're the exact same town, we're just seeing them at different periods. Could that mean that Calabar is actually the mayor in Nightmare? Channel Frederator even pointed out these similarities in their outfits, which was funny. Or could Calabar be Jack? There's a lot of theories about who Jack was before he died, but maybe he was up to no good Calabar. Or maybe Calabar became Oogie Boogie, the most evil one of all. This is a very post-apocalyptic kind of theory. Now I know this one doesn't really work because of the 3 DCOM sequels, but it's still an interesting concept. They are the exact same town, but Nightmare is the prequel to the DCOM. Swapping the last theory, but what if Nightmare is a prequel to the DCOM? Because of how Nightmare ends, the town's inhabitants ended up becoming more caring and understanding of the world, and they actually evolved into less scary, softer Halloween creatures, and over the years, this scary Nightmare town turns into the peaceful DCOM town. When Calabar is talking about how they used to live amongst the mortals, and he's all bitter that they don't anymore, and that they like kind of turned on them, maybe he's somehow referring to how Jack went and played Santa and was literally down by the mortals when flying across Earth. Would that mean Jack evolved into Calabar? Or could a bug or two still be left behind from Oogie Boogie and he reformed and evolved into Calabar? Since Oogie is definitely evil and Calabar is definitely evil. Also in the Nightmare song, when it says, "I am the shadow on the moon at night," it shows Oogie as the shadow, and Calabar is first referred to as the shadow creature. It also adds to the theory that Oogie was never actually a person, but was a demon of sorts because Calabar is an evil demon. I think this is a pretty good connection. I suppose another sub-theory could be that they are the same town, but they're actually hundreds of years apart, and that's why they've evolved so much, instead of just being like maybe 5 or 10 years apart. Which theory do you think fits best, or do you have a theory of your own? I would love to hear. I know I didn't include the plot lines from video games or books that came after the movies, I was just sticking to the movies themselves. And for all the party poopers, yes, I know, just because they're both Disney movies doesn't mean they're connected in any way, and I know the Nightmare Town has a space in the name and the DCOM Town does not, but it's fun to theorize. If you love all things nostalgic, be sure to check out my TikTok and Instagram, Madi Hearts. I'm super active there, and be sure to subscribe for our next nostalgic adventure down memory lane.